Okay, next is the little basket to hold all the charcoal, which sits inside the other tray. And that's just to make it easy for the ash to fall underneath and to be able to remove and clean it. Okay, next you insert the two rods. These are two solid steel rods that I've poached through. The idea with that was to be able to hang meat using the old butcher hook. The only issue was there, because the keg's doesn't have a lot of depth, the meat would be sitting in the charcoal, so I've done away with that option. The next option is, I do have this flat tray here which can be placed across the top. There you go. And as you can see, you can just lay your meat across that tray. The other option is, I've just got this rack here for putting roast in, so obviously these steel rods just slide in through the handles from below to keep it sturdy, and obviously you'll just put your roast in the top there. Okay, now I've got the lid on, and as you can see, it's got a bit of a chimney stack. I've got that's sealed at the moment, but you'll find that this cap comes off to let some air in, to let the air out. See, I've got a temperature gauge there, just so you can keep an eye on the temperature inside. Now, the reminder: this is a slow cooker, so we want to cook that meat for between 8 to 10 hours. So we don't want a lot of air coming in, just enough to keep that the heat going consistently low. And the reason being why that's the only vent we got below is that one hole. Now, if you feel that you want to cook it a little bit quicker, you can release that top cap, and that'll just let that air flow through a bit quicker and ignite those charcoals a bit better. Now, when we talk about charcoal, this is the charcoal I use. I recommend it. You get it from Barbecues Galore. It's really good stuff, easy to light. Now, you can add some flavour too, and obviously from Barbecues Galore and then Bunnings, you can buy the bags of timber or wood chips, flavoured with apple and different other varieties. For myself, I've got some old wine barrel oak, which I've just cut into chunks, so it's still got that wine that's been sunk into the timber itself over many years. And the oak is obviously a good burning timber as well, and it adds lots of flavour. What I recommend is that you soak it in water for at least 2 hours. As you can see, this one here, I've done it overnight, so the idea of that is you want it to smoulder longer, not to burn out too quickly, and that smoke flavour is important, that that embeds into the meat in the early stages of the cooking. Also, to light the charcoal, I recommend that these firelighters, they're easy to use, and obviously there's no smell to them, so you buy these ones from Bunnings. And there you go. As you can see, I've just filled that charcoal up to the top of the rim of the basket. As you can see, there's a vent through there, just to let that air through. So, like I say, we don't want to burn it too quick. It's going to be long and slow. You can see, got a few firelighters in there. I'll just give me matches. We'll light that and let it burn for a little while, and then we'll be underway. There you go. We'll give that about 10 or 15 minutes, and that should be getting well underway. Another option is when you first light it, if you want to leave the basket outside on a concrete surface, just to get more air coming in underneath, just to get it to go burn that a little bit quicker, that's fine. Just make sure you use some insulated gloves. Then once that just gets going, I'll place that rack back inside the keg. Okay, as you can see, it's really got going now, so I'll put the tray back into the keg, and we'll just let that go a little bit longer. Then what I'm going to do is add those wine oak timber cuttings that I've soaked into there, because we want that smoke flavour to go through that roast lamb. With the roast lamb, I've just a basic seasoning. I haven't gone overboard. Yep, you can add lots of herbs and spices to it, but for me just the old oil rub and a bit of salt and pepper. Alright, the next stage I'll put the rack in. That's where we're going to place the roast lamb on top of that rack. So as you can see, it's all ready to go. What I'm going to do now is just put the lid on a bit. I just want those flames to start dying down now. Like I say, it's long and slow, so we don't want a lot of heat in there at all. We want it to cook for 8 to 10 hours. Yep, as you can see, I've put the rack in there. That's the rack, the cradle that's going to hold the roast lamb. But as you can see, my flames are starting to flare up a bit now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the lid on. I just want to contain that heat. I want to just reduce that now, so because we've got plenty of air in there at the moment. So then we'll leave that, and I'll just keep an eye on the temperature, and when it's right, we'll place that meat in there. As you can see, that temperature gauge is starting to rise now. So yeah, bit of smoke coming out. It's pretty hard to seal the homemade smoker, but that's fine until that smoke escapes through there. And like I say, we've also got the chimney above, so we can use that to seal these. And just a little tip as well, as you can see, I've just put the keg up off the ground off the bricks. Obviously just don't want to damage the patio flooring. And this is a handy little chart that I use. It's a magnet which sits on my beer fridge, and as you can see, lamb medium to well done, 65 to 69 degrees Celsius. So that's what we'll aim for. Okay, as a bit of an extra, and obviously to monitor the cooking of the meat, I purchased one of these from Barbecues Galore. It's called the wireless barbecue thermometer set, and as you can see, I've got it set to Fahrenheit. Sorry, Celsius, but you also can have it to Fahrenheit as well. What it has, this one has 2 probes. First of all, this one here is for the barbecue, so that gives you the temperature of inside the barbecue. Mind you, the one I've built already has that built-in thermometer as well. This other one here is a meat probe, so you just plug that into meat. So obviously when we get to the required cooking time, it'll tell us what the meat's cooked inside. Just helps indicate, so we don't have to keep going and checking it all the time. It also comes with another little box which is actually inside here. It's a little timer, so you can set your timer, so it'll go off when you feel that you want to go check it and bring it out. Okay, it's been about half an hour since I've lit it, but maybe I've used a bit too much charcoal, but really it's far too hot to put the meat in. So remember, we're going to cook long and slow, 8 to 10 hours, so I've really got to reduce that down to at least 100 degrees Celsius. The ideal is probably below about 85, so we'll wait, we'll get it right. I prefer to wait than ruin the meat. Yeah, starting to control that heat with the charcoal now, so it's still a bit longer, still a bit too hot, but yeah, I've started to reduce those flames, and as you can see, it was just starting to die down. So I'll get the lid back on, just don't want too much air in there. Okay, what I've done is I've only put in 2 of these wood chips, or wood blocks. Obviously it depends how much smoke flavour you want through your meat, so my girls don't like too much, so I'm just going to drop 2 of these in, and we'll go from there. Okay, I've just thrown the roast in there, and like I say, with the smoking timber, make sure you put that in just before you put the meat in, because you don't want to lose all that smoke when the meat's not in there. So pretty important that that smoking penetrates that meat before it cooks and seals. Okay, I'll put the lid on now, and we'll wait and see. As you can see, I've just put the meat probe into the meat, so I can just keep an eye on the cooking temperature of the lamb. Probably can't see the smoke coming around the lid seal, but she's starting to smoke now. That tells me that that wet timber, the oak that I put in there, is just starting to do that smoking. That smoking will probably last for 20 minutes before the timber burns out. But really important to get that smoke in that meat before it seals. As you can see, it's the meat's on in the middle is on 10 degrees Celsius. Barbecue temperature is a bit higher than I want, but I'm just running out of time, so as long as you get the idea. Yep, she's really starting to smoke now. The timber's burning. Flavour of that oak is going to go through that meat. It'll be awesome. Time will tell. Barbecue Phil, we're just going to sit back and relax, and I'll give the meat a turn probably every hour, because obviously it's not a rotisserie. I just need to make sure I keep turning that meat, so maybe once in an hour I'll get in there and turn that meat. As you can see, that smoke is really starting to penetrate that meat. Long time to go yet, but looking good. And also you'll just notice, like when the fat and the juices drip off the lamb onto the hot charcoal, obviously that puts all that flavour back into the meat through the smoke. She's smoking. Smell it from here. Should be good. It's probably a bit hot, but that's alright. Smoking Phil. Barbecue Phil. You can check out my YouTube channel, it's called Barbecue Phil. I'll post this on there a bit later. Looking good. Okay, it's coming along really good now. The smoke's starting to die down, but you see some really nice colours in that piece of meat. Unfortunately, obviously a few things on today. I've had the temperature a bit too high, so it's going to cook a lot earlier than I expected. But obviously the flavours will still be there. Okay, things are quieting down a bit now, so temperatures drop right down low. This is on about 50 Celsius. Inside temperatures. So the meat's at 74 degrees Celsius. So to me that looks like it's cooked. Okay, so the temperature's dropped down inside the smoker down to about 50 degrees Celsius. If I look at the temperature gauge here, it's telling me the meat inside is at 74 degrees Celsius, which is telling me that the meat's cooked. So it's probably time we can take off. Yeah, it looks good, it smells good. I think Barbecue Phil's done a good job. Cheers. Just before I finish off, just another little tip. Obviously got the little vent down the bottom. I don't have a little swinging latch where we can cut that vent off to reduce the speed of the cooking. So do what I do. Just use a brick. You can block it right off, partially block it off if you think it's cooking too hot or you want to close it down. But yeah, otherwise all good. So the meat's all cooked, just been carving it up. As you see, there's a lot of juice coming out of this, which is great. And you can just see around here, the ring, that's all the smoking that's just sealed that.